This video is a film study focused on Al-Quadin Muhammad, who led the Detroit Lions pass rush with 3 sacks in Thursday night's 44-30 win over the Dallas Cowboys. The Lions pass rush has been much maligned in recent weeks for good reason. They've been ineffective, not able to get consistent pressure on the quarterback. That all changed against Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys. Maybe the Cowboys are trying to push the ball downfield a lot, which they're kind of known for with their receivers and the tight end Ferguson. I got 7 plays queued up here for you. All 3 of his sacks discuss some of the moves that he utilized and how it appeared to me as if he was the most fresh pass rusher on the field late in the fourth quarter. We'll get this started on the second possession. It's a 3rd and 4. Now, this is actually not Al-Quadin Muhammad's sack. This is a big moment. He gets chipped off here on the right side. But this is a stunt that's run on the inside between Jack Campbell and Derek Barnes. Campbell is basically picking the center and then driving through that A-gap that's created by the running back and the center. Campbell is through here already. This is a safety, in my opinion. It's just very weird to see the interpretation of this. I mean, both of his feet are in the end zone. The ball is in the end zone at the point that he's tackled. We all remember Barnes in 2003, I believe it was 2023, trying to sack Prescott in the end zone, kind of holding up. Prescott escapes and makes a big throw down the field to convert to 3rd down. My point is, it's such inconsistent application when New York kind of buzzes in and decides to change something that was ruled on the field a safety. It's a great play by Campbell and Barnes, unrelated to Muhammad and Aiden Hutchinson necessarily. Could have put Dallas in a 5-3 hole, and they're kicking the ball off to Detroit's offense, which really didn't have any trouble moving the ball for most of the night. Same play from the all-22 angle, 3rd and 4, like I said. Muhammad down here, he's going to get chipped by the outside tight end. I believe that's Ferguson. Detroit's in a mug look, and I think Rock is doing a really nice job of communicating that 87 is going under. We're talking about right here. Communicating it to Branch so that Rock, could potentially take over that route from Turpin. Sure, still looks like a safety to me. I get it. The replay showed that the ball, was perhaps a centimeter or an inch outside as contact was made. I just don't know at what point we're going to say, we don't need to we shouldn't be relying on people outside of the field, outside of the building, in fact, the area code in Detroit, to make decisions that affects the gameplay on the field. Moving to the 3rd possession here. Now, this is actually going to be his first sack. It's going to be against the left tackle. 3 times in this game, the left tackle had reactions like this one. It's very unusual, if you ask me. Actually, I shouldn't say it's a weird reaction. It's no reaction at all. So Muhammad's got a free lane to the quarterback. You can tell he's going to work a topside rush. In addition, Hutchinson from the other side is going to spin to the inside. Really clean win for him against the right tackle, who kind of gets a really narrow base here for a moment as the spin starts. So we're talking about right here, his feet right here. As Hutchinson gets the spin, it looks perfectly timed up from a move standpoint. Over on the other side, the left tackle paid almost no attention initially to Muhammad. It looks like he's paying attention to the inside blitz, the other threat of an inside blitz by Barnes. And then by the time Thomas, 71, peels out there, it's too late. Muhammad has already passed. He's very efficient, Muhammad is. There's no wasted movement, in my opinion, and nor do I think that anyone should apologize for this sack. For as many times as defensive ends are held, or quarterbacks escape, or they throw the ball away, you will not apologize for this one, in my opinion. At this point, I think it puts him at 7 sacks for the year, up to the moment where I have this paused right now, and Detroit's up 10-6. We've moved way forward here in terms of the impact that Muhammad has. We're into the fourth quarter. Detroit's actually up by 10 with a little bit less than 7 minutes left. Really nice sequence on this drive from him. First, a pass rush situation against a right tackle. So they're going to chip Hutchinson, and then the right tackle actually jumps Muhammad. So what that means is he flattens out and attacks Muhammad immediately. Now, when you look at some of the pass rushes that occur later on in the game, it makes sense because when Muhammad was able to get his move developed, initiate His pass rush move, Muhammad was able to counter things that were done by the right tackle. In addition, you've got some inside pressure here. I think it's Aleem McNeil kind of driving the left guard back into Dak Prescott's face. I would call this an activity sack. Not a coverage sack, in my opinion. I get it that the time to throw for quarterbacks against the Lions has been pretty high. They get a lot of time at certain points this year. This one, to me, is kind of illustrative of what you get from Muhammad. He gets jumped, interrupted, hands to his face mask maybe, or his neck, chin area, fights off with a series of moves that culminates with a rip, gives him a path to Dak Prescott. Him and Hutchinson there together. They got a lot of things done. I think Hutchinson was credited with like 9 or 10 pressures. I don't really pay attention to that, but I recognize, he definitely had 4 or 5 really good moves where he's right there in Dak Prescott's face. In this case, it created a 9-yard loss for the Cowboys with a little bit less, like I said, than 7 minutes left. Unfortunately, the very next snap, they're not able to get anything done that's similar, they being Muhammad and Hutchinson on the other side, and Prescott converts a 2nd and 19. I want to talk about this play a little bit. So how they get this accomplished. The center pulls and wraps, him and the tight end are going to deal with Muhammad. In addition, post-snap, the running back crosses Prescott's face, and he helps out the left tackle by chipping on Hutchinson. So that's what creates enough time here for Prescott to push the ball down the field to this later developing dig route. I think it's Flournoy or Flournoy, however you say his name. Branch IDs it. He's watching Prescott's eyes, in my opinion, and so he IDs the route from the other side, tries to pick it off, or tries to at least put himself in position to do so, and ends up having a little bit too much depth. As 19 crosses under, Branch ends up here around the 45. If he's able to go underneath or at the depth of this route, I should say, possibly make a play on the ball, really, the game's over at that point if you get an interception. I do also wonder if maybe Jack Campbell drifts too much horizontally once he gets to the top of his pass drop. So we're talking about right here. I think he's ID'd the concept. He sees the vertical by 2. Remember, I had a purple line going up the right seam. And he expands, and that's what allows 19 to fit underneath here. It looks to me like to the boundary side we're playing man, so you don't have a corresponding, inside linebacker on the right hash and then inside linebacker on the left hash, which could possibly help here if those guys had their eyes on the quarterback. In any case, for the Cowboys, really nice throw by Dak Prescott. How they got time. Branch is tracking that one. I think he's hungry there. Game's over, clearly, if he gets an interception up 10 with 7 minutes left. More versatility here from Muhammad than perhaps most of us would have forwarded or understood. A little bit of a giveaway, in my opinion, in that you get motion from the boundary to the field on this mesh concept, and Amik stays to the boundary. Kind of a giveaway that it's going to be a blitz. It ends up being Anzalone and then Amik on kind of mirrored blitzes, if you will. And Muhammad's going to peel off and cover the running back out in the flats. It's kind of like a wheel route. I will give you the all-22 so you can see it yourself. We're talking about right here on Javonte Williams, number 33. You can see he's expanded with him. It's a mesh concept. Fortunately, Amik gets here in time, and Prescott has to throw the ball quickly because you'll see this a little bit better when you get the end zone angle. This receiver right here, Turpin, running one of the underneath drags in the mesh concept, wide open, would have been probably a touchdown. Really smart usage, if you ask me, of your boundary side D end, not asking him to cover anything to the field where there's clearly, more space. Same play from the all-22 angle with the ball on the right hash. Wheel route by the running back. It's a mesh concept, like I said. So you get 2 drags, and the one that pops open is from the motion man. Turpin goes all the way across the field and then runs a low drag left to right from Dak's perspective. Never really has the opportunity because you got a free rusher from Amik directly in Prescott's face. So he's not even processing any of this to the backside. Obviously, he's not going to have time. Very fortunate, if you ask me, because Branch was tracking Turpin, but he had to navigate a whole bunch of traffic and a whole bunch of teammates and other routes from the opposite side, the downside of our screen. Like I said, probably would have been a touchdown. Really nice change-up look from a coverage standpoint, allowing the boundary side D end, in this case Muhammad, to handle the running back into the boundary. 3rd and 3 here. This is the OPI on Ferguson, the tight end, that I think caught us all by surprise. But having said that, if the defense commits a similar hold or a similar move, that's oftentimes called a DPI. So Branch actually gets hurt here. I won't really focus on that. It's an ankle or Achilles or something like that. That would be awful news, clearly, for his career, but also for the 2025 season. Right around this area for Ferguson is when he takes his inside arm, his left arm, and kind of swats, holds, and grabs Anzalone to clear him. I mean, Anzalone was correct with what he said on social media, that his body isn't going to naturally do this unless it's impacted on by, an outside force. And in this case, it's the inside hand of Ferguson that kind of swats him to the inside. If a defensive player makes that kind of move and disrupts the posture of a wide receiver or tight end's body, basically breaks his posture that quickly, that's typically going to get called. Still caught me by surprise, though. I for sure thought that they were going to call a DPI. Cowboys have to settle for a field goal, and they get to within 7 points with just less than 4 minutes remaining. Finally, the last and third sack from Muhammad here with about a minute and 25 left actually on a 1st and 10. So Hutchinson's going to jump to the inside. He gets chipped by this tight end and actually falls to the ground. Muhammad, a really nice cross-chop move, if you ask me. When I said he's efficient earlier, that's what I mean. He's a direct line guy. I don't see him as being a guy who jumps to one side, jumps back, and then has enough time and agility to reverse course a third time, or a second time, I should say. He's very efficient. And the move here that he puts on the right tackle, clean cross-chop, uses the left hand, outside hand to kind of swat and then rip to the inside with the right hand. Happens so quick, you can almost not even show it all unless you slow it down. And then finishes this off. A great moment for Detroit. First of all, to get to the passer a little bit more consistently, but finish this game off. Dallas came in on a roll. I mean, the film of them against the Eagles and against the Chiefs was very impressive, and they look like a dangerous football team. Who knows? Maybe they'll lose every game the rest of the way. Maybe they'll play above the standard that some people have for them now. In any case, a really cool moment for Muhammad in his career. He's got 9 sacks now. He's leading the team in sacks. Really had a tremendous impact last night on Detroit's ability to close out the show and get to the quarterback in those obvious passing situations. Maybe would like to see him be a little bit better at times against the run, but I have no complaints about what you're getting from Muhammad. He's going to get to double-digit sacks for 2025, clearly get an opportunity to sign a free agent contract somewhere else. I don't know if the Lions are going to be interested in retaining him for the price point that it now looks like it could be for a guy who has bounced around the league a little bit. I think he's got around 30 career sacks. Maybe it's 32, somewhere in that range. Awesome to see him succeeding and having an impact on the game. You'd like to see more guys contributing. I think Campbell had a sack. Jack Campbell, Aleem McNeil had a sack. And then Muhammad had 3 for a total of 5. If you can get to 3, 4, 5 sacks a game, that's a workable situation for Detroit's defense. The way that Kelvin Shepard wants to cover, or wants to have guys cover, I should say, any kind of pressure is going to increase the effectiveness of the coverage schematics. And last night it worked out to great effect, allowing them to get ahead 20-9 at the half, 27-9 after the interception by Derek Barnes early in the third quarter. Dallas closed, obviously, to 30-27, 37-30. Detroit's offense was a rock. Guys like Jahmyr Gibbs, Jamison Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown. I'll obviously have a video out on him at some point Friday. I recorded this one really early Friday morning to get it out for you guys. I've been critical of the pass rush. I've been critical of the talent level that they have opposite Aiden Hutchinson. This is a night when Al-Quadin Muhammad proved everybody wrong, obviously including myself. 9 sacks now for 2025. How many do you think he's going to end up with by the end of the regular season? Hopefully he continues to put together this type of production, something similar to this, but we know the activity, the effort, the energy is all there for this guy. He's a high-energy football player. I don't like to say coverage sack. I think a lot of his sacks this year have been activity sacks, and that, to me, is trying to be complimentary of the player who's producing on an NFL field because he deserves it. In any case, if you guys enjoyed the video, please let me know in the comments section, number 1. Number 2, if you think other Lions fans would enjoy this quick film study look at Al-Quadin Muhammad and how he really powered Detroit's pass rush in the Thursday night win over the Cowboys, then please consider grabbing a link to this video, sharing it out on social media to help this content get more reach.